recipe. I am so excited yet another day because today at the Young's house, Gina Young is going to share with you all how easy it is to make a delicious, better than anything cake. This cake right here is pretty much bomb. It's so easy to make, doesn't require a lot of ingredients, and if you make it Gina Young style, it's going to be so tasty, hands down. Y'all never had my better than anything cake. Better make you some. Here are the lovely ingredients you're going to need. You will need some cake mix. Now, we are using German chocolate cake mix. Any type of German chocolate cake mix will do the trick. It does not have to be this name brand. And whatever your ingredients on the back of your German chocolate cake mix has, that's what you're going to use. So now for this one requires 1 1/4 cup of cold water. It also requires 3 large eggs and 1/2 cup of oil. So those are some of the ingredients that we will be using. You're going to need a jar of Smucker's caramel, okay? And then also, a lot of people wonder where you can find this. You can typically find this in the aisle where you could find like ice cream toppings, okay? So then you're going to need some sweetened condensed milk, 1 full can. You will need some Heath candy bar pieces. If you cannot find Heath candy bar pieces that comes in a bag that's already nice and chopped up for you, go ahead and purchase a big old Heath candy bar, chop that baby up, okay? And then also you're gonna need some Cool Whip. This is an 8-ounce Cool Whip. Sometimes I will use a little bit more. And guess what? This is it. Make sure your hands are impeccably clean. Let's get started with this really quick and simple, yet so tasty recipe. You may hear just a little bit of noise in the background. It's just the fan that I have going here in the kitchen, okay? So now, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna make up this beautiful cake mix, okay? So now, well, the cake mix is already made for you. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's get the cake mix into our mixer. If you don't have a stand-up mixer like this, it's totally okay, okay? You could use a handheld mixer that has the 2 beaters, or you can you can mix this up by hand, okay? And it's gonna be the exact same as if you were to mix it in the stand-up mixer. So now right away I wanna crack my 3 eggs. I typically like to crack my eggs into a separate bowl just to be safe, just to make sure that I have nice fresh eggs, make sure that there's no shells, because if you turn around and you crack your eggs into that mixture there and you get eggshells in it, or you got a bad egg, then you got to throw away everything. So it's best to do it this way. I hope that y'all are having an amazing day today. Let me know in the comment section below. Have you ever heard of a better than anything cake? Number 2, have you ever tasted it? And if you have, I want you to tell me all in the comment section below what you thought about this recipe. And if you're that person that's never tried it, you are definitely in for a treat, because by far, this is gonna be one of your favorite recipes that you've ever tasted. Okay, let's get 3 large eggs right in, just like so. Okay, and I decided to put a little bit extra vanilla in. Okay, so we're gonna go right in. I never measure my vanilla. Just get you some in there, you know? All right, I wanna measure out 1 1/4 cup of cold water. Okay, I'm gonna do this over the sink for a second here. And then we'll take a nice look at it this way. Got a little bit extra, let me pour some out. Do not use warm water, do not use hot water. You are always going to use nice cold water. We have 1 1/4, let me make sure. You can never be sure enough, right? There's 1 1/4. And then I need to measure out 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. So let's just do that. Now, there are some people that do not like to use oil in their cake, and if you're that person, no worries. Guess why? Because you can always use an unsweetened applesauce. Use 1/2 cup and it'll do the same thing as the oil does, okay? And you have a really nice moist cake, okay? So I always like to throw that option out there. Let me make sure. Need to pour a little bit more in. I always like to look at my measuring cup from eye level. Looking at it this way, you really can't tell. But when you do like this, you can really tell if your measurement is spot on. When you're baking, your measurements must be spot on or it's just not going to turn out right. So right now, I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and we plan on cooking this for about, let's just say, 22 to 27 minutes. Normally, it's around that 22-minute range. Okay, let me see. Got the half a cup. Let's get that in just like so. And when I come back, we'll get this nice and mixed up. Let's go ahead and start this on a really low setting, and then you can move it up to a medium speed. You never want to start off at a high speed because you're going to have cake flour all over your face. So let's get this nice and mixed up. But I do want to show you my soft spatula. Every once in a while, I'm going to go in with my soft spatula, scrape the sides and the bottom down to make sure that everything is well incorporated. So now that we have all of our cake mix nice and mixed up, now it's a perfect time to go ahead and oil and flour your cake pan. I'm going to be using a 9x12 disposable cake pan. I love to use a disposable cake pan, you know, because when you're done with your cake, you can just toss it, or if you're taking it somewhere, you can leave this cake pan at your loved one's house, you know, and then they can toss it when they're done with it. You don't have to worry about somebody not giving you your cake pan back, okay? So now, on this clean paper towel, I just have some vegetable oil, and I just really want to go in, and I want to really coat the sides, the bottom, all the nooks and crannies of the cake pan so that our cake does not stick. Last thing that you want is to make up a beautiful cake and it sticks to the pan, right? So now there is different options where you can purchase the pan spray that has the flour in it. That's amazing too. I just kind of like to do it old school. Well, I'll oil it myself and then I'll throw some flour in and then we'll shake all that flour all around the cake pan and dust the excess off. Okay, so when I come back, I'm going to be putting just a little bit of flour in our pan and we're going to give it a nice shake until this pan is fully coated in flour. I have to stop in real quick just to tell you all, when I make this recipe for family, friends, and loved ones, people go kind of nuts because the flavor is so delicious. They can't wrap around their brain like how delicious it is. And what does she do to make this delicious cake that has so many different elements to it? You know, you got the caramel. Listen, I'm not even going to go any further because as we do, I was getting ready to go all into it. As we do this recipe, you're going to see. You're going to see. So now that I have the flour in, here's what I like to do. Just a number like this, right? Get the bottom coated, get the sides nice and coated, and then you can shake the rest of the flour into a Ziploc bag, you know. So then I'm going to shake this excess into a Ziploc and I'll be right back to show you what to do next. Take a look at the floured pan. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our cake mix in, and we're using a soft spatula to get all that beautiful goodness right out of, you know, out of our mixing bowl here. And then what I want you all to do is we're going to bang it on the counter just for a little bit. And when I say bang it, I'm going to show you how. What it does is it literally gets the air bubbles out, right? Gets the air bubbles out, and it's going to make your cake nice and even. Okay, so let's do this just like so. All right, and then make sure you leave a little bit of cake batter in the bowl so you can lick it. Like, you have to lick it. So many people say, no, Gina, don't lick the cake mix. I've been doing it for years and I'm gonna keep on doing it. All right, look at that. You literally seen that the air bubbles were knocked out. Look at that, let's do it 3 times, just like so. And then guess what? We're gonna turn around, we're gonna put this in the oven, 350 degrees, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you how to make this amazing sauce that goes inside of this cake when this cake comes out the oven. Okay everyone, so we got our cake in the oven, 350 degrees. We plan on cooking it for about 22 minutes. Now, we are gonna make a delectable caramel sauce. This caramel sauce is going to go into your cake. How are you going to get it into the cake, Gina? Well, that's a great question. We are going to take the back of a wooden spoon, a wooden dowel, whatever. You could use a fork. When our cake comes out of the oven, we're gonna poke holes all in it. And when you look at it, you're gonna think, oh shucks, I done messed my cake up. But you didn't, You're putting holes in it because we are then going to pour this beautiful mixture that I'm getting ready to make right now into the holes of that cake, right? And we're gonna do it while the cake is still warm. So what happens is we turn around and we take the sweetened condensed milk. I can't get enough of sweetened condensed milk. It's like the best thing since sliced bread. It's so delicious. It's so sweet, so creamy, kind of caramely, you know. We're gonna take this whole thing and want to get all the contents out, okay? And then I'm also gonna take the Smucker's caramel, all of the Smucker's caramel, and this is a 12.25 jar. All right, let's get all of the contents out of both, all right? So let me go in with my soft spatula so that I can get everything out. Look at all that extra left in there. We're gonna mix the two together. After we get it nice and mixed up, okay? After we get this mixed up, like I said, when that cake comes out, you're gonna poke holes into the cake and then this get poured and drizzled down into those holes. But then something else exciting happens. So you turn around and you pour this inside of the holes of the cake that you've made. Then you turn around, as soon as you're done, you put this into the refrigerator so that that caramel that's going down into the cake kind of stops right in the middle. And when you slice that cake to eat it, you're gonna see drizzled caramel that just kind of stop midsection inside of those gorgeous holes. And when you taste the piece of the cake, every bite that you taste, you're gonna taste this caramel and this sweetened condensed milk that we poured into the cake. This cake is kind of like magic. It is. I could talk all day about this cake, but let's get to mixing this up. Okay, so here's how it's done. You mix it very well. Take the time to make sure that honestly it's well incorporated, okay? I like to do this for about 2 to 3 minutes, okay? So now, when we pour this into our cake, it's very important that you leave a little bit to the side. Don't pour it all into the cake. And I know some of you are gonna say, okay, Gina, so how much do I leave out? I'm gonna show you. I don't never measure it, but I'm gonna show you. It's just a little bit. Because what we're gonna do to that little bit that we leave in this bowl is we're gonna fold it gently into the icing. What's the icing gonna be? The icing is gonna be a simple Cool Whip with this caramel sauce folded into it, and then we're gonna top it with the Heath candy bar pieces. This cake, I can't talk enough about it. I could talk all day about it, matter of fact. That's how good it is. This is one of my husband's favorite recipes, and I know it's gonna turn out to be your favorite recipe as well. You can set this on the counter. You don't have to put it in the refrigerator or anything. I'm just gonna cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap. Our cake will be coming out soon, and I'll show you how to put those holes in and how to put this gorgeous sauce in. Okay everyone, I'm back. So now, our cake cooked in the oven for about 24 minutes. It's perfectly done. I have taken a fork, and what I like to do let's just talk about something really quickly. What I like to do to check my cake and see if it's done is I'll take a fork or a toothpick and you stick it down into the cake. And when you pull it out, if your fork or your toothpick comes out nice and clean, your cake is perfectly done. But if you put it in and you take it out and you see all kinds of crumbs and you see like cakey dough on it, it's not done. You got to cook it a little bit longer. So it's out. Both of my cameramans are working out. They're working out right now. They are in the basement. They got the music rocking and they are working out, okay? So I figured I could finish the rest of the video by myself. So that's what we're gonna do, okay? So now, when we turn around, the cake is still hot. We're gonna poke some holes into it. We're gonna pour that gorgeous caramel sauce all down into this gorgeous cake. I'm gonna show you how much you need to leave so you can fold it into your icing. When I come back, be right back. So I do wanna talk about how very important it is for you to use a German chocolate cake mix, okay? I have this here. This is very old. I normally use this for barbecuing, but I like to use this when I'm poking holes into cakes as well. Okay, so I just kind of go in, give it a nice twisty turn, just so to speak, you know, just to open that hole up a little bit bigger. And like I said, you can definitely use a fork if you wanted to, but I feel like the fork holes aren't big enough, you know? You can use the back of a wooden spoon or a wooden dial or a chopstick that'll give you nice big holes. And like I said, don't you worry for 1 second that you messed the cake up after you see it and it has holes all in it. Like I said, when I go in, I kind of do a number like that. I'm going to continue to do this, just like so. When I come back, we'll get all that beautiful caramel sauce poured all over this cake. And when you pour it, you start at one end and you work your way down. Don't just put it right here because it won't get into all the holes, you know? When I come back, this will be nice and holy. So now you can see all of the holes that we have all over this cake. Let's start at one end, nice, gentle, and slow. All right? We want to get every piece of the cake. Don't you forget any part of the cake. And like I said, leave you some. How much? Just leave a little bit. You just need a little bit for your icing, okay? Look at that, just like so. Oh, I couldn't be more excited. My family's even more excited. You hear me? All right, look at that. All the holes are closed with caramel. This goes into the refrigerator right now so that caramel can get stuck right in the middle of those holes. Cake is in the refrigerator. We have extra caramel sauce. You see how much I left over. All right, just pour it right into your Cool Whip. I'm using an 8-ounce Cool Whip plus a little tiny bit more of another Cool Whip. Always like to use a little bit extra, you know. Now, we're going to do the folding technique. We'll use that little one. Just like so. If you stir it, you will break down this fluffiness. We don't want to break down the fluffiness, okay? We want to keep this nice and fluffy. This is the folding motion that I'm looking for. If yours still has streaks of caramel in it, don't freak out about it because guess what? It's okay. All right? Just fold that caramel in just like so until it's well incorporated. When I come back, our cake will be nice and cool, and then we're going to spread this on the top of our cake. I know. Let me know if your stomach is rumbling right about now. Okay, everyone, our cake is nice and cooled down. Now it's time to put this beautiful icing on top. Okay, and we're just going to smear it, you know, smear it so to speak, make it nice and even. And then we're going to put those gorgeous toffee pieces on top. You could put Reese pieces on top, whatever topping you want to put on. Heck, if you wanted to put peanuts on top, you could. Like, have fun. This recipe is, you could only imagine. When they tell you it's better than anything, this cake is so stinking good. You hear me? Get the toffee pieces on back into the refrigerator to set up for half an hour. If y'all enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Tell your family and friends and everybody you know. Tell the whole world about Gina Young, what I'm doing in this kitchen on a daily basis. When I come back, I'm going to say a prayer. You all get that first bite. Take a look at the inside. Look at the caramel. Look how moist. That is a cake. That is a cake. Take a look at this. Better than anything cake, Gina Young style. Make you some. Heavenly Father, we thank you in Jesus Christ's name for this beautiful dessert. Amen. Come on in. Come on in. Because you want to bite and I want to bite. You want to bite, I want to bite, you want to bite, I want to bite. Let's do it. Look at this. Look how creamy. Look how dreamy. Look how gooey in the inside from that caramel. Look at the icing. Take a bite because I'm going all in. Make you some Gina Young style. Good night.